All right. Welcome to Wednesday Legacy Alliance. I just love saying that name. Action Party. This is where we get together and hold each other accountable for actually doing the thing, which is opening conversations, sharing gratitude with people, sharing appreciation, building connection and relationships, building bridges, watering our seeds, tending our relationships, and eventually getting to the place where we get to explore, is this somebody who's praying for this? And is this something that they're calling into their life? And how, if so, can we guide them and support them to be here with us? And if not, no worries. So that's kind of the flavor of how we prospect. So we get to do that together. We always open the call with a little bit of guidelines, a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of background on what kind of language works, and then one or two stories to really help set the tone and get us in the groove. So I have a personal story to share, but before I do that, I wanted to bring on Corey here, who I've been excited to have come on this call for weeks, actually. Corey has a really amazing story. So take notes, press the upload button on the frequency. So a little background, Corey's pretty brand new, came in last month, triple ranked to executive by leveraging the UBT. So she hit the Summit Up UBT, 1,100 points. She hit 2 more other weeks of 500 point UBTs, and she hit the 10 brand partners in 1 month UBT. So she had 3,100 free points at the end of the month. Executive is 6,000 points. So over half of her executive run was freebies. Right? So you guys catching what's available? And when you're brand new and you're most excited and none of your people have signed up for this, it's such a great time to just jump in and, reap that harvest of those low-hanging fruits. So Corey's a great example of that, and a great example, and plus hit all those fast start bonuses, right? So you can add that up. That's 3 fast start bonuses that month for her and for Leia, who enrolled her. So massive amounts of money are on the table with fast start and UBT. And Corey just came and was like, I'm living in a place where there's fires. I'm a single mom. I'm working I have my acupuncture clinic, which is, in flux with everything going on. And what can I do here? What's possible? So super inspiring. I'm really excited to hear from you. Give us a little bit, Corey, tell us a little bit about your why, and how you made the decision to go for it. And then tell us what worked when you were having conversations with people. And thanks so much for spontaneously jumping in here. We didn't prepare for today. So you're going to be awesome, and give her some love in the comments. Thanks, Corey.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
You're a little staticky, but I can catch your words.
Okay, if it gets bumpy, just let me know. I can turn video off. But thank you, Christina, and thank you, everybody. And I just saw that Laura was in evacuation mode with all of her family and members and friends. And I just want to send you a little bit of love, because I was there just a week and a half ago, it seemed like. So if it's possible to do it, this is amazing. So much love to everybody. Bad reception. I just saw that. I'm going to turn my video off.
Yeah, I think probably I was just going to pop in and say that.
All right. Okay. Is that a little better, hopefully?
Way better. Great.
Okay. Awesome. My little condo for some reason. But thank you for having me here. So my why, I had a download right before I started talking with Leia about Purium. I had a whole bunch of stuff happen in my life. My mom had a stroke we lost my affordable housing. My partner and I broke up, and he moved away to Alaska. So I became a single mom overnight. I had to move into a fifth wheel, and then COVID hit. And so I was just like really at this bottom of just kind of asking the universe, like, what is it that you need me to express through you? Like, what's next? And Leia's stuff started popping up right then and there up on my social media page. And so I reached out to her and we started talking. And I really was, between her and Christina, just really dropped in and was like, you know, I just was like to not be stressed out about money all the time. Like, I just feel like between not working in COVID and everything else, like just something needs to shift, something needs to change. And they handed me this amazing, beautiful tool where I was like, okay, like I can do this. This is totally possible. And I can still live in Santa Cruz with this amazing beach view and go to the beach with my daughter and do all these amazing things. It just felt really powerful. And so I got on board, and then I was kind of like, ho hum, like I'll get to that. And then Christina called me one night and was like, hey, you know, if you sign up 2 more people as brand partners, you could hit this bonus, and that would put you so much closer to being director. And I was like, okay, I can do that. And what it opened up was this world of the back office and knowing the numbers. And I was really motivated by the numbers, because once it was broken down and seeing what was possible just really was amazing, because then it was just like something that didn't really seem attainable when I read it on paper, and then having the support just made it blow up and go explode. And I feel so jazzed and excited. And then that just ended up happening again with executives. So that was just absolutely inspiring and amazing. And so now I'm just really calling in some amazing brand partners, setting up my foundation for what's next. I'm just super excited for all the possibility. So I hope that was what you wanted.
That's super amazing, Corey. Yeah, just really that piece of like, people don't know what's possible until we tell them, and then we show them that they can do it. You know, we hold them as capable. And if that means bringing someone to a call with your upline, if you don't know yet how to hold that for people, you just bring them on up, connect them up, and just say, hey, you want to drop in and just, you know, see what's possible here. And some people catch the vision and some don't, and it's all good either way. But the more that we make those connections and provide the landscape of possibility for people and really break it down to make it super simple. You know, when I reached out to Corey that night, it was like 2 hours left of the Summit Up. And I was like, hey, what you got? You know, she's like packing it up for the night out there on the West Coast, and Leia's like goes to bed, you know, but we like made the proper connections in order for those pathways to open up. And Corey's like, yeah, totally doable. 2 people, done. So, and that just opened her up to be like, oh, and I love how Sarah's coined this new phrase. I'm going to be repeating this a lot. So everybody just like take this in. We are now bringing people into the culture of, oh, that was easy. When we help people have that initial experience of success with the fast starts and with the UBTs, and they're hitting these bonuses and having successes, they're getting that imprint of, oh, that was easy. And then they turn around and not only continue that momentum like Corey did, but they bring people in and duplicate that. Oh, this is easy. Whereas some of the rest of us who have, you know, come to a certain place in our career, and then we hit those walls and all the mind stuff comes in, we have a harder time with that culture of, oh, this is easy, because we've like put those layers on, right? Like if you studied Buddhism, it's kind of like the beginner's mind, and then you like come into the world and you're like, oh, wait, the blocks, the resistances. So really just our whole thing is to bring new people into the culture of, oh, this is easy. Oh, that was easy. And then helping rewire our own pathways and start to really open up those pathways for all of us. So we get to seed each other in that way. So thank you so much, Corey. You're like opening it up for all of us to see what's possible and how people, you know, and this, I mean, single mom, evacuation fires, like devastating, personal crisis type situations happening, all the reasons why somebody could be like, I can't do this right now, right? All the reasons. But instead, she leveraged those reasons and turned them into the why that fueled her business. And that's why I'm always looking for those people with a strong why. People who have a strong why and can stay connected with a strong why. So beautiful. So the story that I was going to share, because I hadn't prepped anyone to share today, but that was an awesome treat, was really kind of a breakthrough that I had over the weekend. So drop a 1 in the comments if you ran for the weekend UBT promo. If you had the goal of like, I want to hit this, and I'll put a 1 for that. And no, I did not hit it. So celebrating running for goals, even if we don't hit them. Yeah, I tried, exactly. And so the experience that I had over the weekend, I had, and the reason that I'm sharing this is because I had a rough go at it. So if you can relate, hopefully my story can help kind of transmute that. So I had the classic example of, so this business is a fine art, if you haven't caught on to that yet. We, on the one hand, have this goal we're running for, and then you wake up Saturday morning and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, they're rolling out the next thing. Just when I thought I was going to have the 3-day weekend, it's like now all of a sudden it's like paddle. So that was my experience, was like, okay, we just ran for the UBT last week, and all of a sudden we're going to condense it into 3 days. So what happened for me is I got excited. I was like, cool, I'm going to find out who on my team is running. I'm going to clear space. I'm not going to make plans. I did. I played too, right? It's all balance. I definitely went to the beach that day. After I first locked in, who's running for it? What seeds do I want to plant this morning? What social media do I want to put out there? Okay, cool. I'm good. Go to the beach, come back, and kept going for it all week. And by Monday, I was hitting that wall of all this effort, nobody, not even one enrollment. And that, drop a 2 if that was you this weekend. We can commiserate with each other. Those harder feelings come in of what am I doing wrong? And does this really work? And why do they put these out? And, it's not that easy. And, these feelings come in. And so I had to really pause and first of all, just kind of look at my life. And I'm like, okay, I'm in a situation right now where my husband is 0% available. I'm 100% on. And I know some of you know what that's like. And I've gone back and forth. There's times when my husband has stepped in and I've been like, here's the kids, I'm diving into my business. And he's been there for me. And he did it all for days sometimes a week at a time, sometimes 2 weeks. That's the most I've had. That was amazing. And maybe I got a little used to that, but now I'm into 0% available. So I'm full mom. We're back in school. We're carpooling, school lunches in the morning, school breakfast, the whole morning thing. And I just kind of hit this place where I'm like, okay, maybe this just isn't going to happen for me right now. And I've got so much going on. And it was a mindset shift, because at that moment, and I just had my kids all day for 3 days, right? So I'm just hitting that wall of trying to get business, but kids. And I just had to be I'm going to do something well. Instead of having all these things I'm not doing well, I'm just going to put my business down and play games with my kids and go for a swim in the ocean. And that's what I did, and, move the energy. So this is the dance. This is the fine art, always finding those those places and those lines. But what I wanted to bring into this call was really how it was affecting my prospecting. In particular, I just want to share like one of these conversations because it gave me an opportunity to just observe, like, okay, I've hit UBT. I've been in a place where I've signed 3 people up in a day, so I know it's possible. So what is happening for me right now? I would say, honestly, my funnel's not super full. So that's part of it, is if we're like I haven't been prospecting as much as I have in the past. So when it gets to this, I don't have as many people just like ready to go. So that's part of it. And that also really affects the emotions. Like the more my funnel is full, the more my emotions stay up. Can anybody else relate to that? Drop a 3 if like, you know what I'm talking about. The more people you're in conversation with, there's no can get you down. No judgment can get you down. Not even like not hitting UBT can get you down because you're like, I got so many people who are so close. Like it's going to happen this week, and maybe that's you right now. Like everything we did this weekend is still harvestable through Friday for half the points. I mean, that's still great, 500 free points. So keeping the funnel full is definitely the antidote to the emotional swings I went through. And the other piece of that is if you're in enough conversations with people, you automatically are using the tracker sheet, because there's no way to be in as many conversations as you need to be in with people without keeping track of who you're talking to and then being able to follow up and keep them going. So what happened for me, because I didn't have enough people in my funnel, I haven't been in enough conversations, is I put a little squeeze on the conversations I was in. And this is like what we don't want to do. So I ended up doing what I'm like always training not to do, but I want to like give an example so that you can feel the difference of when a conversation glides up onto the shore easily and somebody's just like, wow, I've been praying for this, thank you so much, versus where I put a little squeeze because I'm running for a goal and I'm feeling the pressure and I want it, right? So it's so easy to get into that. This is definitely a meditation practice. It's a mindfulness practice. We have to like check ourselves every moment. Like, are we in alignment? Are we anchored and centered and rooted to trust that this is flowing and the people who are praying for this are going to come to us and the right words are going to come out of our thumbs or mouths or whatever and land it. And when we're in that place, it happens and we don't need to like squeeze anyone. Okay. So this is what like a slight squeeze, and it's subtle, right? Like you could look at my words and be like, everything about that sounds totally fine, but there's a subtlety here. So, and I may have talked about this same conversation last week, I'm not sure, but anyway, I see this woman, she's been noticing all my stories and commenting. I'm like vibing with her. And I made a business forward post and she did the raise my hand emoji and wrote, I'm looking for business mentoring, business coaching. So I'm like, yeah, I'm all excited, right? And I just adore this woman too. She's super radiant. So I started a conversation with her. What's up? What's happening in your life? What's alive for you? What are you doing? And she sends me her website of this business she's starting, making food at home, like power bars and stuff, and shipping it out. And I'm just thinking, oh, geez, that's a lot of work for probably not much money. I know all about starting a business, or my husband does anyway. That takes a long time before there's any significant profit, if any. So, but I'm thinking, great, what a perfect prospect. So, so we chat for a while and then I say, and then I bring up Purium and, I talk about this might offer you the kind of mentorship you're looking for. And, you might be able to add the superfoods into your products. Do you want to check out this video that breaks it down and see if it's in alignment with something you're calling in? Yes, please share your video. I send the video. that Mary and I did a couple weeks ago. I follow up, aloha, were you able to check out the video? And then she says, yes, I got to see parts of it. The company seems very cool. And my friend has gotten some of the products and they seem very cool. But at the time I'm focused on developing my own business and I'm at the beginning stages and I don't want to add another aspect before I have established a foundation, right? We hear this all the time. I don't want to add another thing. I'm focused on my thing, right? You drop a 5 if you're like, yes, I get that. What do I do with that? Like people are like, I don't want to add the thing in. Thank you for sharing this opportunity. I wish you well, right? It's easy to be like, oh, she didn't want to do it. That's the end of it. Okay, so here's where I put the squeeze on. Thanks for checking it out. The reason I thought of you is 2 reasons. And one, I talk about how she could add the products in. And so basically I'm now defending my business. I'm now explaining why she should. She just told me she doesn't want to add another thing in. I didn't listen. I mean, I didn't follow that thread. I start to explain why this, and I kind of go on and, it's all good reasons, right? And it may very well be something she comes to eventually. However, the prospecting conversation is meet her where she's at. So what I wish I had done and what I will circle back to do is, and then she responds to my thing, oh, cool, thank you. And I'm like, the door's always open, blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh, cool, thank you. Okay. It's not a great conversation. So what I wish I had done is just been more curious and interested in her business. Wow, that sounds so amazing. And basically led the conversation to her why. Wow, that's so exciting. Like big her up. That's so amazing. You're like stepping out and doing this entrepreneurial thing. Have you done this before? What is your vision for your business? Where are you hoping to see it take you? Like get her to where, is she hoping to like make $1 million with this? Or, like lead the conversation, follow her thread more, get to the why, then start asking questions, then start leading it into, like what's her strategy? If she is hoping that this is going to be her primary, like big cash cow, like what's her strategy for that? And following that. Or I could, just lost my train of thought. All right. It doesn't need to be, if I think of it, I'll let you know. There was another like, I could also bring in like, my husband's, she's been to my husband's store. So she knows, that we know the brick and mortar, the whole like start from scratch thing. So we can have that conversation and be more interested than interesting. I'm trying to like make my business sound interesting. And I needed to spend more time being interested to keep building that trust and keep that door open. So there's my like cautionary tale story. And that, and then I probably got her reply. That probably happened over the weekend and just kind of like compounded my like, oh, I'm not doing it. So anyway, just story from a crown, like it happens to all of us. And we can just take these moments to observe and be like, okay, number 1, I need more people in my funnel. Number 2, I just need to be prospecting more in a way that feels light and joyful and giving energy to people. And number 3, just being more interested and keeping those conversations alive. So what do I want to shift into and what do I want to bring us into today? And this is where prospecting like uplifts me. And I literally woke up this morning like, oh, I can't wait for our action party today. I am pumped. And there's been many other days where I'm like, oh, prospecting, I have to do the thing. And I'm like actually really excited because, and I know I talk about this all the time, so it's not new, but just that idea that I'm like, how many people in this next hour can I just give appreciation to? That brings me joy to like go on people's posts, go in their stories and send private messages telling them why I appreciate them, why I, have praises for them. Maybe it's empathy or compassion if they're going through fires or a divorce or, you know, a health issue, whatever. Like, meet them where they're at. Don't just like private message someone, you're so amazing, you're so awesome, and then like realize that their whole wall is all about like they lost their cat and their house, you know, like pay attention. So meet them where they're at, and you know, just send love. Like, oh, if you're like me where I'm like, I need to open more conversations, just open it in a way that feels really light and joyful, and then follow the threads. And if we open enough conversations, we're going to have people, you know, if you've heard that metaphor, we're just throwing tennis balls out, and then some people throw them back, and then just keep the back and forth going as long as you can. And it will naturally get to a place, instead of a forced place, of bringing up Purium and, you know, the ask, the invite to check out what we have. Oh, I'm so glad that was helpful, Corey. Videos, I like sending the one that Mary and I made. I just really enjoyed making that video. I had to do some deep inner work to get to that place. That's a story for another day. But yeah, I'm enjoying that one, and other people can put videos that they enjoy as well. So here we go. If you're brand new, this can be awkward. We're going to get silent. We're going to go on mute and do the thing, which is having our tracker sheet, paying attention to who we're reaching out to for the first time, who we're following up with, you know, sending videos and links. And, you know, it's still that week to like potentially hit the UBT. And remember, like, even if we don't hit it this week, everything we're doing, it's going to happen. It just will. That's just the way it works. So the goal really is how full can we get our funnel? And again, I love Tori Washington's quote of, don't be attached to the goal, be attached to the action steps you're doing daily to reach the goal. So that's what we're here to do today. All the videos are in the Superfood Social /replays section, except for mine, because I confess I haven't uploaded mine. So put it on the list of things to do today. I'm going to do that. And if anybody has, because some people have really expressed they appreciate the silence of this so they can focus. If you have questions, you can text me or private chat me or other leaders here. Please do. And thanks, Alexis, put that replay in the chat. Yeah, so as many private, or if you have an upline support thread, you know, the more private questions, and also for our announcement thread, the more you can ask questions more privately, the less it like clutters that thread. I know sometimes people like having all the responses, and I would say if it's a really amazing question, go for it. But if you think it's a simple one that someone can simply answer and it doesn't have to clutter the announcement thread, go ahead and ask it in that direct upline support. Okay, so any questions before we go mute and jump in? Yay, I'm glad that was helpful, Marianne. And good to see all the faces here. So, yeah, questions.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So my question is, when talking to people on social media that we don't really know, but you know, you're starting to establish relationship.
Yeah.
At what point do you get on the phone with them to, you know, deepen the conversation? Because last week on Sarah's call, I think it was a Thursday call, she talked about, you know, just getting on the phone with people. And I know she has a huge following, and there's people that have been, you know, watching what she's been doing for a long time, and she probably has more rapport with them. But have you been able to gauge that, you know, and how long it actually might take in establishing that relationship before talking in person?
You know, because this is the kind of thing where every single person is their own journey, there's absolutely no way to predict any one person. I was a year I was a year of going from no way would I ever do this to, you know, here I am. And during that year, I would, you know, reach out to Monica and be like, okay, I want to do this. And then I would ghost her for 2 months. And I did that over and over for a while. So thankfully, she never gave up on me. She never pressured me. And she was always loving. I knew that when I was ready, she would be there for me. And that's why she's the one I went with, even though other people were prospecting me. So there's absolutely no way for me to say, like, at 8 weeks, you're ready for the call. You know, like, there's just no way. It took me a year to get on the phone, and that was with a good friend. So there's no, but I would say, like, as far as sort of a stage in the process where I'm more likely to get on the phone is probably at the point where they've looked at some material about Purium and they're now like, okay, what, like, I have more questions. I'm curious, like, what is this really, you know, is this the real deal? You know, like, if they're interested in Purium, that's usually when I get on the phone. That's just me. I'm not really good on the phone. Like, that's been a block for me my whole life. In the past, I will say, because I'm working on it. But yeah, I've had like shy about the phone things. So getting on the phone with somebody before Purium, I mean, if that's you, right on and tell us your story. If that's you. So, but that's kind of, and I think that's more Sarah too. Like, she tells the story of Ashley. Ashley found her on social media. And at the point where she was like messaging her and had sent her the farm to family video, and she looked at it and was like, oh my gosh, like, how do I get started? Sarah's like, here's my number. Let's get on the phone. You know what I mean? So, okay. Any other questions people
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a woman on Instagram who I've been following and like liking and commenting on her posts, but I don't know her at all, and I like don't know how to take it to a conversation besides like another like little edification of like, I love what you're doing, I love what you're up to. Then what?
Questions.
Yeah, what's like I'm like, what's my question? Because I mean, she's like talking about menstrual health, and like her whole thing is around helping women have less menstrual pain through nutrition and different kinds of stress release, stress, reduction practices. And so I thought about asking, like, what's your approach to nutrition? Like being really like, okay, just go to the nutrition question. I guess I'm just like, it's the first time I'm ever doing this, of reaching out to someone who I absolutely don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have any experience of doing that, and like what kind of questions and how to, like, I don't know. Yeah. Do I go straight to like where I'm actually going to go with my curiosity and what I could offer, or something more general?
I would say, remember that the idea is to see you have the answer to someone's prayer. So you're like, who is going to align with me? Who is going to vibrate at my frequency? And it's not necessarily everyone, even if like everything they're putting out looks super cool and you want them. So the idea is like, what kind of conversation is fun and playful and opens the door and is going to get you going in a conversation. And it may not be about menstrual health, and it may not be about nutrition. It may be about, hang on. Oh, that was you. Like, again, Sarah tells the story of how she and, her newest Fast Start Diamond, Jennifer, she commented on her story about Brussels sprouts. That was the engagement. Like, it's like, I would go with what's interesting to you and just follow that thread. Like, maybe she put something, and just find ways to authentically be curious. Maybe it's about their kid. Maybe it's about the tree they're climbing. Like, where they live. You know, it's like, what are you doing for school? Like, it doesn't have to be direct. It's more following.
Yeah, I mean, she only puts videos about with her, and like I don't see anything about anything beyond her and her business. So it's not
Okay.
about. It's like hard to know who
Yeah.
she is, but
So, I mean, you can go.
I could ask.
You can go and see if she has a personal wall, or yeah, just how did what was the inspiration? Like, how did this become your thing? You know.
I like that. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
It's
That's
just,
super simple and
exactly. It's just like, how can you be curious and interested? Just going back to my cautionary tale, like, how could I have been curious about this woman's business instead of coming with my own agenda, my own thoughts about her business? And just keep the idea is to keep the conversation alive as long as possible. The goal isn't to like drop Purium as soon as you can. It's like, keep the conversation going and build that rapport. It could be that if I had kept this relationship, and I plan to, you know, circle back and rehash it, but if I can keep this relationship going as long as possible, we can have so much fun with each other online that by the time Purium comes, she's just like, oh my gosh, like I've just been enjoying our connection. If that's what you're doing and I can like do that with you more, like, yay. You know, I've had lots of people join just because of me. You know, people are like, yeah, like I dig you and I dig our rapport. So if Purium is the way we're going to like keep this going, then cool, I'll check it out. You know? So it's you're the one that people are going to want to sign up with. You're the thing. We're the thing. And the space we hold for people.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Michelle's saying, you know, you can ask, do you ever partner with brands that align with your core values? I mean, I think you can get to that place. And I've personally been finding that building the relationship and finding people that I really, really like, that I'm enjoying being in the relationship with, is more valuable than like asking that kind of question too soon, you know? So you can play around with that. But that could be the kind of question that could come later on after you've built that, especially if it's like, you know, online friends. Yay. I'm so glad that was so helpful.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So like definitely I've done that, like maybe brought up stuff a little bit too soon, and like maybe just ways to unblock my resistance to reapproaching certain people, you know, within the timeline, and just like reestablishing a trusting relationship and like taking my time and like navigating like when, if it is safe to bring it up again further down the line kind of thing.
So this is just like you're going to do with somebody you've never even reached out to. We're going to bring out the big old fire hose of positivity, and we're just going to like blast it all over social media. We're just going to be like, how many people, I mean, seriously, okay, we have 45 minutes left, but I'm like, can I reach 50 people in 45 minutes and just send messages of appreciation? I think I can do that. Like, I'm going to like set that as my goal. How many people can, and I'm just going to like say one more quick story. My mother-in-law, even like I didn't really do social media before Purium. If you can relate, drop a 6. I was like, social media. My mother-in-law, on the other hand, is like, she is so good. She comments and likes on every single post with positivity and emojis. And I'm always like, she would be so good at this. She's already laid the foundation of what we do. Everybody loves to hear from her. She bigs everyone up. She's probably in everyone's algorithm. Like, you know, but she's got her own self-worth issues. Anyway, another story. But she's shown me the template of like, that's what you want to be doing. You want to be that person that they're just like, Christina is just so consistently like positive and there for me. And I know like when I go out and I'm vulnerable and I'm posting, she's there like cheering me on, and it puts a smile on my face. You know, that's like, you want to be that person. Yeah, it takes a little time. That's kind of like our job, is to like spray the hose of positivity on social media, because that's what we all need, is just more upliftment, more connection, more being seen. So that's what we get to do. That's the fertilizing the beds. Then when we plant the seed, it's in a fertile bed. Professional friends. Yep, exactly. Can't think of a better job. So have good game, you know? The dating metaphor is always useful here. Like, it's courtship and we got to have good game. So how do you keep track of contacts and all the conversations? Good question, April. That's where the tracker sheet comes in. So everybody, like, hold up your tracker sheet. We want to bring our tracker sheets to this call. And if you don't have a printer and it's just hasn't been in your flow to go grab your tracker sheet, you get out a pen and paper. You look at the template at superfood.social/partners and at least write it all out. But there's a lot. It's like we're tracking, like, who are we commenting on their posts? Who are we sending messages? Who are we following up with? Like, it's a good one to go to the thing and have them printed out for you. Last time I went, I had like 20 printed out. All right, we ready to roll up our sleeves and do the thing and send out? Like, right now we're just going to be like a bubble of positivity. Like, the world's going to be like, whoa, all this positivity just hit the social media airwaves, and like everyone's feeling uplifted. So we get to go do that right now. And I'm going to put it on mute. Private message me if you have any more questions. And yay, thanks for being here. You're helping me do the thing. All right.